My old cordless drill driver died on me, happens eventually, and I decided to buy a Milwaukee to replace it. I've always been a fan of Milwaukee tools. They make good quality tools. They've been around since 1918, which is a long time for a tool manufacturer to be around, making electric tools. They were the ones that took the contract for Henry Ford to make a better corded drill. But they've been at it, and they've been a large part of how the tools have come a long way since then. Now, a lot of their tools are cordless, and of course everybody else's are. But the one thing Milwaukee has always had going for it in their reputation is that their tools produce more power, more torque than anybody else's. When we compare this particular tool right here to the other top brands of cordless drill drivers, this has got 500 inch-pounds of torque. They do give you that spec, okay? Makita, which is another top brand and another brand I do like, has 480 inch-pounds, so they've got them beat out. The other big brand that people talk about a lot today is DeWalt, and DeWalt doesn't give you that information, so we actually don't know how many inch-pounds of torque it produces. So the tool came in a carrying case with a charger, and it's kind of nice. The charger not only charges the 18-volt batteries that are used for this tool, but will also charge the 12-volt batteries that they have for their other system. And it looks like you can actually charge both at the same time because there's separate lights to tell you how they're doing. That's a nice added little feature to have that ability to do that. Charging is fairly normal. Milwaukee has put the effort into developing circuitry that makes as good a use of the power that's in the battery as possible so that you can get the most life, you can get the most holes drilled. They call it their Redling power technology, and I really don't understand what that is, okay? And this tool uses their red lithium 18-volt batteries. You can also buy aftermarket 18-volt batteries that'll go with it. The battery that comes with it is 2 amp hours. This one, which is an aftermarket one, is 5.5 amp hours. So you can get a lot of power. With the battery installed, this tool only weighs, it's 3.4 pounds. That's not a lot when you compare it to a lot of other tools. It's a lightweight tool. It's compact, only 6.5 inches long. So you can take that, put a spade bit on it, and it's still short enough to get it between 16 center studs if you're drilling, for example, to run wiring. It's not a really compact right angle drill, but for a full-size half-inch drill, it's nice and compact. The batteries have a built-in battery meter to tell you how much power you've got in it. It's got 2 speed ranges from 0 to 500 or 0 to 1800. It's variable speed in both of those ranges. Now, when we compare that to the other 2 brands I mentioned, Makita does beat it out slightly on overall speed. It'll go up to 1900 RPM. DeWalt doesn't come as quite as high as this one. It comes, I think it's 1650. So it's fast, it's easy to work with, it's powerful. And that, again, powerful is what I like. It's a brushless motor, so we're talking about a maintenance-free motor, and that's great. The old tools, old power tools, all had brushes in the motors. They eventually wear out, and then you had trouble getting the brushes, okay? This is a brushless motor. Theoretically, it should last forever. Now, what's nice, though, is that even though it's built for the professional, pricing on these tools has come down to the point where this is really affordable for the homeowner as well. What are you buying for the extra money between this and, say, a low-end brand, a consumer brand rather than a professional brand? You're buying life expectancy. The last cordless drill I had, which was a consumer brand, lasted me 10 to 12 years, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly when I bought it. This one will probably last me the rest of my life. That's what you're buying, okay? If you're a professional working with those tools, you need that. Nevertheless, you want something that's going to last, okay? So I keep talking about power. So really, I really want to do with this tool is see how much power it's got. And I've tried to come up with some of the worst things to deal with that I could. And I'm going to start off here with a 1.5 inch spade bit. That's the biggest spade bit I've got. And I'm going to go into a 2x4 with it. Cuts that just fine. That's no problem whatsoever, okay? Well, spade bits cut pretty well. Okay, so let's try an 1.5 inch Forstner bit. I really don't expect a whole lot of problem with this either, but I want to see what it'll do for me. Again, no problem, okay? I did hear the drill slow down a little bit both those times, but I was putting a lot of pressure on it. All right, this is a I believe it's 2.25 inch Forstner bit. No, it's a 2-inch Forstner bit, okay? This is the largest Forstner bit I've got. This one is not real sharp. Okay, I did manage to stop it. I was putting a lot of pressure on it, and I did manage to actually stop the drill. Okay, I stopped the drill because the battery went dead. Okay, so now my battery is charged back up, which really didn't take that long. Let's try this 2-inch Forstner bit again. Yep, had plenty of power for that. Now let's get the rough stuff. Hole saws. I don't know about you, but I have more trouble driving hole saws into wood than anything else. I'm going to start off with a 2-inch hole saw here. All right, it bogged a little bit, but it did a pretty good job. Here's a 2.5-inch hole saw. We're talking a lot of torque here to do this. Doing pretty well. Here's a 3-inch hole saw. By the way, these are Milwaukee hole saws too, not that that makes any difference. Okay, so I'd say we're pretty much hitting the limit of the tool with the 3-inch hole saw. It still does it, but it's catching. But that's pretty darn good. Normally I have to do that on a drill press, so I'm impressed that it can do that big a hole. And I suppose if I worked at it, I could get it all the way through the wood. But that's a lot of torque, folks. You know, the tool is designed to handle the rough stuff, and that's what I like about Milwaukee in general, and this drill in particular. I know that my previous drill, there's no way it would have been handle a 3-inch hole saw. It probably could have done the 2, but there's no way it could have handled the 3-inch. Overall, it's a rugged tool. It's well built. It's easy to work with. It's comfortable in the hand. I really like how they've improved the lighting, the LED lights on these nowadays. It used to be invariably you put your drill bit in there and it would light up everything except for right where the drill bit is. It's got the clutch built into it for using as a driver. Now, I don't use it much as a driver because I have a separate driver that I use for that, but it's designed with the clutch in it so it automatically stops. So like if you're doing drywall with it, it'll handle that well. One of the interesting things that they don't even talk about as a feature on here that I noticed about this tool is that the back here is absolutely flat. One of the tricky things when working with a cordless drill is driving a hole absolutely perpendicular, okay? Really easy to be just a little bit off one way or another. I haven't tried this because I don't have one, but I think you could put a bubble level on here and you could use that to guide this and make sure it's absolutely perpendicular. As best I can tell from what I measured it, it is absolutely perpendicular. And that's a nice little feature. I don't know why they don't mention that. I don't even know why they didn't just mount the bubble level in there, but nevertheless, that's a great ability. Overall, it's a very well-designed tool that I expect is going to last me for years, and that's what I want out of my drill.